Hey everyone, welcome to the newest segment of the China Doll podcast called Powered by Music, where we talk about everything music. We are joined by an incredibly special guest. She is a singer, songwriter, and vocal artist named Nelly Monk. Nelly, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, guys, and thank you, Michael, for having me as your guest. This is a really great honor, and I'm so excited about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely glad to have you on board. So, yeah, guys, just to give you a backstory of how me and Nelly met. So, I came across her on social media. She was posting a lot of videos, doing a lot of social media engagement with a lot of people. I loved her material, I loved what she was all about. And I decided to reach out to her for a special project that we did last year, and it went really, really awesome. She was on a single called Wishes in Wonderland that released on December 25th of 2022, and it was such an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that you were a part of it, Nelly.
And I'm so glad that I'm a part of your. It's kind of like a winter soundscape, and I really found myself there. It was really, really tremendous experience that I will never forget. I swear to God, I never forget it. Definitely.
Yeah, it was definitely a wonderful experience, and we'll definitely cover a lot more of that in the interview today. So Nelly, yeah, just to kick off the podcast here, how you doing today? How's everything been going?
Um, Beside those technical issues that I had with the Zoom before this meeting, everything is just fine. Today I was just working on my new art clay art, actually, not like an art clay, it's a clay art, and just finishing some things because next week I will be kind of like a busy as an extras for movies and series and a lot of stuff and with kids.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I'm really good today. Actually, now when I saw
awesome.
you and all this, I'm just like, yeah,
Yes.
I'm great.
Awesome, awesome. No, I love to hear it, Nelly. Yeah, so yeah, guys, just to kick this off, Nelly, I really am intrigued by the artistic side of what you do. You do a lot. You're a painter. You do a lot with clay art. You're an incredible vocal artist, and so I really want to deep dive really into your background just to learn a little bit about the upbringing that you had with music.
Yeah.
Um, do, can you tell me how long have you been singing and songwriting?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I started to compose maybe 10 years ago. It was kind of like an emotional breakdown for me, and I need just to find my trace, my track again, the music track. The It's kind of like a race with time, mentally, spiritually, and I need to find just that peace with me again. And the music was there. I wasn't really sure how to do it. I didn't really plan to write a songs.
Right.
And the first time I actually find out about that I can sing, it was probably when I was 10 years old.
Mm,
So that was like a while ago, and it was a really great experience in a way. Like I was young, I was full of energy, I was wanted to try a lot of new things.
mm,
I know it sounds cliche, but I really want to thank one of my parents, my mother,
mm.
because if there wasn't her, honestly, I don't think I will be here where I am today, and I will be probably buried somewhere, somewhere in another world. And really, really, it's important that you have people who are definitely support you in some their way, in some of their way, because
Right.
not everyone have that luck. When I say one parent, it's just one parent, but it's
Gotcha.
enough. It's enough. It's just enough.
Right.
And yeah, I about composing, I think when I said emotional breakdown, for each vocalist is different, because someone is composing because they just want to be connected with with universe or that world of ideas. I was wanted to feel connected with myself again.
Mm,
And it's kind of like it was a painful experience to become songwriter. I know it sounds crazy, but through those first songs that I was writing, you can actually really sense how insecure I was by composing. But there
mm.
was a lot of emotion, today I'm still composing, and it's totally different in a way. Like now I know where how to put story in a song better than I
Mm,
was 10 years ago or more. And but each period of composing in my life was different, and I can't completely correlate right now with my period then and now. Now I just want to compose like really big compositions, and
yes.
then was more private, more intimate. I was like, this is for me, this is for me.
Right.
And now that it doesn't working, and now I want my songs to be heard worldwide.
Mm,
And I'm writing about just humankind. I'm writing about spirituality, about fighting with your own demons, and how
mm,
to just find a light. Back in that time, I was just trying to compose.
right.
Like, okay, I want to compose a melody,
Mm,
and to be there with that melody, like in a music sphere, music ball. And now that sphere is just wider. And
right.
I, I mean, there are a lot of insecurities, of course, but it's a road. It's a
Yeah.
road, a endless road. So
Yeah, I like how you touched on that because I share that same journey. In my upbringing and composing music, it was in the early period of my life, it was very much just creating. It was just a lot of ideas. It was just all over the place. Believe it
yeah,
or not, I did a lot of improvisations where they had no melodies at all. And it was just like all over the place. And as I grew older, I understood the importance of like building a melody, building a motif, and telling that story and that emotional experience like you're describing right now. So that's really interesting.
yes, because it's just each singer is different. We
Mm,
are not we are a different we are we are personally experiencing differently things. And
mm,
it's just that I was always trying to, like, should I write about, about it should be like a love song, but it always was like I start like a love song, and I'm like, no, this will not be a love song. Probably it will be a song about Earth or planets or cosmos or universe, or it's just a kind of like a cinematic pop uplifting music. And it's definitely something that I want to share with the world more, because it's again, I know it's cliche, but music is a universal thing. And it's just, I was trying to find my vocal there, I was trying to find my melody there. And basically, I'm still trying to find myself in my compositions,
mm,
because you're always changing as a vocalist. Your voice is changing over time. You're not getting younger, you're getting older.
right.
And your emotions and your mind is changing. So the compositions are changing. Like last year, it's different. I mean, it's totally different approach to one song to another. And for this year, I'm planning to just make maybe my first single somewhere. I'm not really sure when,
Yes.
but it's it's a step forward, which is good. And but honestly, about composing, there are dark moments, and there are moments like I can do it like all day.
Mm,
But honestly, when we talk about the dark moments, I'm not sure about the other people and the other musicians and composers and singers. When COVID struck, I really, my mind was blurred, and I didn't know, I really didn't want to compose, which is really was a dark period for me, a time for me as a musician.
mm,
So I was paint. And luckily there are my two worlds, like a world of art, of painting, and a world of music. And since my world of music composing wasn't really working well, I was just transfer my thoughts and everything that I was feeling into a painting world, in an art world.
yeah,
And
that's yeah.
that saved me kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I think about your initial question, like about my composing and when did I start it. It definitely was, I know it was emotional breakdown and
Mm,
work hard. So Sorry, heartbreak. And
Yeah.
that was just initial, how you guys say it. I'm sorry, my English is not really
It's
native.
okay.
It's something initial. It's like a first
Mm,
bang, you know, and
right.
it was important for me to just continue to do that.
I love it.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I feel like a lot of music creators can definitely relate to that as far as their initial start with making music.
yeah,
It really comes down to a significant moment of their life to where it's like, look, I need to get this out, and how can I do it? When can I do it? And I find that very, very significant there. So that's really good that you touched on that. It seems like pop and cinematic music, meditation music comes very natural for you. Do you remember when you wrote your first song?
uh, I think it was actually really like 12 years ago.
Wow.
And the title of that song was English Boy. And
Oh,
yeah, it's again, it's about, but it that was kind of like a platonic relationship. And it was really hard for me to write that song. It was kind of like a farewell goodbye.
mm,
Wonderful song that I probably will never repeat that kind of choruses or verses or just emotion. And of course, that's totally fine. But for that first song, I was using my Lyrica piano that I had in my home. Back time then, I didn't had any music program. I didn't had keyboards. I didn't even have a set of headphones. I didn't really literally had anything,
mm,
but I had a really sad emotions. I was really in a dark place, and that was something just hit me. And that was the first time that I actually sat down by my piano and write that song. And I never actually show that song to anyone. It's not viral. It's somewhere in the back of my mind and in the
yeah.
paper, on the paper. But if I could remember it, I remember. I think I remember the chorus. And yeah, I think from that song, I realized like, wow, I wrote this. I mean, it's not like I'm proud because I was writing my first song. I didn't know that I was continue. I was like, gosh, this sounds really good, and it really, yeah, it was really soothing for me to listening uh, as a listener, not as a performer, my
Mm,
own song.
mm,
And I was recording on my phone. It was kind of totally a different kind of phone than we are having now
right.
today, but it was wonderful experience, and I just need to thank to that person
Mm,
for everything that he gave me, and just if there wasn't that person in my life, one way or it wouldn't I wouldn't compose today at all.
right.
So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that person has left a mark, a deep scar in my I can say like composer field,
Right.
like an aura, and I'm pretty grateful for that. Really, I am.
That's good that you touched on that, because yeah, I mean a lot of composers, even myself, can assuredly relate to that. So I mean, there's just that one specific person, that one moment, that one feeling that really just took that initial start to your creative journey, and that's really good that you touched on that.
Yes.
Which brings me to my next question. So there was a very special song that really captivated me, to where I had to reach out to you. I had to reach out to you for your vocal talent, which was the song that you can hear right now on Spotify, called Sensation. And the feeling of that track, the meaning, everybody that I showed that track to just fell in love with your voice. And I really just want to know, like, where did that inspiration for that song come from?
That's a really good question, and I love it. Okay, Sensation was my, I'm not to say like maybe first or second, I can't even remember.
Hmm.
It was the biggest orchestration that I've done in that time for any song. My
Hmm.
first bigger orchestration. And I think in that time I was using probably first time Cubase 5.
Hmm.
So I was exploring with an instruments. the main question is like where the idea came from. After that kind of like a dark period in my life, that dark time, after rain, there is a sun, and I just needed to find, of course, the way out. And I found out about meditation. I found out about those kind of relaxation period in my life, nature, and something just pop up in my mind, and it gave me a space that I've never seen it before. Honestly, it
Mm,
was so wide that I can't even recall that wideness right now.
mm,
It's in, incredibly impossible to imagine that kind of wideness. I felt like something really happened on a universal level for
mm.
my being, for my spiritual being, and it was sensational.
Wow.
And then in that moment, it's like a waking call, and it's like you experience pretty much nirvana,
Mm,
or it's like you have found your true core. And
mm,
I really can't explain better. I mean, it's like I wake up my third eye. It's totally, and it was sensational. It was
mm,
sensational. It was all emotions were intertwined with each other in my body, in my mind, and I just knew that there was also a painting about sensation, and it
mm.
like a thematic. I'm not sure where is it, but it's somewhere. And about the song, I'm just trying to remember the lyrics. I have them somewhere, uh, but I know that says like sensation throughout my world, obligations, and I'm not really sure the lyrics after that. The obligation to feel sensation
Mm.
was my mantra for that time, because without that sensational feeling in my heart and in my body and my mind, where I really woke up from that dark time, I wouldn't write that song. It wouldn't
Mm,
sound that powerful and yet so peaceful and so liberating.
mm,
And um, it it just there wasn't that was the first time there wasn't anyone involved in that song, like,
mm.
it was awakening call. It was like a light was coming to me. It was sensational, and it was my obligation to follow that path. I think that
Wow.
song was the trigger to every other song that I wrote later.
Wow.
And it was kind of like, you have a really good wine and you open it, like, I want to just, the first sip was good, I just want more. So yeah,
Right.
it's really initial. It was a crucial moment where I realized I want to write songs about awakening and spirituality, happiness, without any with, without fear
Mm.
that I'm not going to be understood or something like that. And
Gotcha.
it's just it was really, really, really wonderful experience for me in
It's
that
a
time.
very, very powerful track. I definitely recommend you guys listen to it. It really opened up my heart to you. It really spoke to me, just because there is a lot of lyrics in that song, that a lot of people can relate to, and that a lot of people need to hear. And that's what we're all kind of trying to find in this world is, their obligation to happiness, to their sensation. And that was the track that really, really spoke to me, to where I was just like, yeah, I have to reach out to this person, let her know what it's all about, and work with her. I had to work with you after I heard that song. And oh,
Thank you.
it's a very,
Thank you.
very powerful song.
Yes, it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I really, maybe it was, I'm not sure how, 10 years ago or something like that. I can't even
Mm,
recall anymore, but it's still in the back of my mind. And it's definitely a base for every other song that I wrote later.
I love
And
that.
so I'm grateful for that, really, for that moment.
I love that. It seems that you have this this natural aura of finding happiness, finding sensation, which definitely relates to the meditative music world.
Mhm.
I was wanting to ask, what made you decide to make meditation music?
Yes. Well, first of all, as a composer, I realized that probably I need to experiment a little bit more with the music genres. That was my first thought. Like, okay, the meditation songs came maybe 5 years ago after that initial songs that started maybe 2000 and now 13 or 14. I can't even remember.
Mm.
But yeah, 2000 and I probably 18 or 17, I start to write a meditation song because in that period of my life, I was start to meditate on a daily basis.
Mm.
Because then, after that initial burst and big bang of composing, then there is like a really peaceful time where I'm just recuperating my energy, starting to realize that okay, you found your light. Now it's time for you to just maintain that light, to not
Mm.
go away. Because let's be honest, after Big Bang, everything just went all over. You
Mm.
need to have that light still here
Mm.
inside your heart. Like I say here, it's like a really a big light bulb, but it is true. And that's why I was wanted to start to write a meditation songs to keep my spirit and my soul and my mind in that place, to feel consistent with that first spark, that sensational spark.
Mm.
And I needed, it's kind of like a training. It's a composer training. Composing is kind of like you can be lazy. You can just say, I don't want to compose in a year. And it's not really nice to yourself
Mm.
because you know that you have the talent. And there was a time when I was writing meditation songs and I was like, should I really do that? I mean, do I really want to do this? I'm lazy. And then I realized, wait. We're not going to think like that. We're
Mm.
going to think differently because meditation songs are absolutely different than songs that I was writing, like sensational song, sensation song, and the others, because they are just bringing different meaning. And again,
Right.
they need to connect me with how I was feeling, to maintain the feeling of peacefulness
Mm.
that I felt uh, for that first time when I started to compose. I was afraid that I am going to be just like go all over the place and forget that spark.
Mm.
And I said, okay, now I think I need peace. I need to gather myself again and just to write something for myself. First, it was for myself. And then I realized it would be good to just be like worldwide to write for, of course, the others. And for the others, not for others. And then I
Right.
realized meditation songs were pretty simple back then.
Mm.
And it was all about consistency
Mm.
and consistency. Each week I was having a new track. I have to be honest, there were not really in a production or mastering sense, not really good, but they had everything I was having back then when it comes to Cubase 5 and instruments and my ideas. And once my friend told me, like when he was listening one of my tracks, he said, "You really have a big ideas." And I said, yes, back in that time, those ideas couldn't be really heard because I just didn't had different libraries that I have right now. And
Mhm.
again, I don't think music can be really good in a point. Um, you don't have to have really expensive equipment to be a good musician, but it can help you to really grow your dreams
Mm.
and to express your full music idea through the orchestration, the good orchestration, the full orchestration, if that is your music idea. And the meditations were pretty simple because I was just wanted to build myself throughout them to just
Mm.
keep that spark, and that's why I started to write it. And also to confirm myself that I might try that genre too.
Mm.
And that is like, okay, I'm just going to try to write a meditative songs. And
I
I
love
I'm
that.
just, yeah.
I love that you touched on that. Yeah, I mean, I think that you have a very good natural um gravitation towards that type of genre, and your YouTube channel is crazy about meditation music, and I love that. And that was another reason why I wanted to reach out, because of just how natural that genre seems to be within your being. So on that note, I definitely want to touch on, you know, the I definitely want to touch on our single Wishes in Wonderland and
Yeah.
how that experience was for you, because it was such an emotional, impactful song for you and me. And, you know, tell us a little bit about that experience.
Oh, about that experience. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me as your vocalist there. Second, it's definitely a different approach than when I'm writing my own dreams. I'm just writing dreams. I just got confused when I'm writing my own songs and meditations, because when you are working with others, the main thing is that you are listening to a composer, the writer of that music, and you can bring something from yourself and to yourself to that track, but of course you have to just listen to the composer and respect their wishes,
Mm-hmm.
and how it's supposed to sound. In that time, I have to be honest with you, and you know that in that time I was just trying to cope with my gigs, live gigs. It's a different kind of singing, and singing in a studio, it takes a lot of emotions, a lot of fragility in your voice, and you just need to be pretty much rested vocally and physically. And while gigs are just totally different approach, they are all open wide. The audience is pretty much important. How you look, how you behave, not that much your voice, but
Mm-hmm.
you need to just sing loud. As for your song, I was kind of like a little bit afraid of how it's going to be sound like, because I was in that time working a lot as a gig session musician. And but then I realized, okay, you were tremendously patient with me in that time, and I was literally worried like how it's going to be sound like.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down one day and I just asked myself, okay, this he wants me to sound like this, like that. This is something that I can do, and you're actually always giving 100% each time you're doing something. You're just not aware of that, even if you think that that day it could be better, it couldn't. You're giving yourself 100%. And I really truly enjoyed while I was recording. It was kind of not stressful because of the track, it was stressful because of me, how I'm going to pull that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew what you want, and I knew how you want that to sound, and that crisp sound in my voice or tiredness, not really that much, but it felt like a bit. I think that was something that was suitable for that track.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a bit louder, if it was a bit bolder, it would be probably too upfront and too much of voices there. And I realized that uh, I will give the best I can for this track. And the breathless, the emotions, and really it was emotional throughout the whole song, because I was thinking about the other things in my life that happened in winter time. I didn't tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely emotional. I was trying from different takes, multiple takes, to sound pretty much close to how I feel and pretty much close to how you want to sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was pretty good. And
Yeah.
if it was a different, it wouldn't be that kind of feeling in that
Right.
song. And I'm really appreciate. I'm listening while I'm painting, or while I'm just meditating, or God forbid, while I'm just showering. I'm just listening, or oh, definitely. And I'm just trying to understand, this is my vocal.
Mm-hmm.
This is different Nelly, but it's still me. And
Yes.
it's definitely my vocal that is full of emotions in a way. Maybe sadness, maybe I felt like throughout my vocal that there was a sadness, there was a security, but there was a will to sing
Mm-hmm.
and a will to just be there in a track,
Mm,
and was just there. I was there definitely, and
mm,
my vocal was there, and my emotions were probably all over, and my thoughts were all over, and but it was a very unique experience, honestly, and
mm.
I couldn't explain it better. It was something that I definitely will remember as long as we know each other and just working together. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely a powerful track. It was such a pleasure to have you on board that project. And it definitely was an experience that you and me will never forget. It was the track that got featured on the most playlists that I've ever gotten featured on, which was such a blessing. And it was such a great experience. We're just about here to wrap things up here, Nelly. So before we close out, where can people follow you?
okay, someone who wants to just know about more about me and my work and what I'm doing, they can find me on my YouTube channel, Nelly Monk World. They can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok even, and Nelly Monk, just Nelly Monk. And it's artistic name that I chose 10 years ago, and I realized like, okay, this is going to work. I hope so. It's going to work, and
Yes.
luckily it did. It did.
Yes.
So yeah, Nelly Monk
Yes.
everywhere, everywhere.
Perfect. Perfect. We definitely got a lot of good things in store from Nelly. She's been such a fantastic superstar through her musical journey, and we definitely appreciate you being on board this podcast. So guys, yeah, that just about does it for this episode. Please follow us at the China Doll Podcast and follow Nelly Monk on all of her social media platforms. You can also follow me for any details or any collaboration opportunities at Michael D. Tidwell, or you can visit me on my website at michaeldtidwell.com. But yeah, guys, that just about wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for joining the newest segment of the China Doll Podcast called Powered by Music, where we talk about everything music. And you stay classy, guys. Thank y'all.